Hey, hello, good afternoon, everyone. Thanks for joining me and Martina on time, or rather earlier. So we are 1 minute away from the scheduled time. So right now, I have actually shared my presentation slides. So let me know if you all cannot see or hear me. You might want to re-log into the webinar platform if you cannot see the slides. All right, I'm gonna type it in just in case nobody can hear us. All right, so Martina, all good on your end as well?
Yes, all good.
All right, okay, so it's on time now, right now, so we can start on time so that we have more questions for the Q&A later. So very warm welcome to everyone. Good afternoon. So today we're going to talk about intellectual property reporting and what you can do to prevent this kind of issues, from kind of appearing in your account. And then myself, I'm Jin Lang, the trainer from Amazon Seller Education. And then today we are very happy to have Martina, our account manager from Amazon Global Selling Team, to share with us, what you can do in terms of intellectual property reporting and how you can prevent that. All right, before I pass on to Martina, let me go through some of the administrative tasks. All right, a quick introduction of Amazon Seller Education. So we have, or rather we provide free education and training through a variety of learning programs. Now, one of it will be the one that you're almost familiar with, Amazon Seller University, where you can access it through Seller Central. Under the Learn navigation, you can get to Seller University. So the other one, which is the one you are attending live right now, which is the Amazon Live webinar, where you get to interact with the presenter live and get your questions answered during the sessions. And the session you're watching or attending right now will be recorded and it's going to be available in our official YouTube playlist after the session has ended. I will upload it. All right, so the links is shared over here. You can also access or rather view it on the chat box. You can see the links to get it, or you can see it on the follow-up emails. And then if you have any question, let us know in the question box, usually to the right-hand side of your, of whatever you're using to access. So last but not least, do always ensure that you always refer to the most updated information, such as the Seller University or Seller Central Help for the most updated information, or you can watch the latest recording as well. All right, so these are the important notice, just to take note of this. All right, so and then hopefully today the session will be able to address, all of these questions that you might have in mind over here. So I'm going to pass it on to Martina, our account manager, to walk us through the rest of the presentation before we come back to the Q&A session. All right.
I think today's session will have to address these following questions, right? Like what are the type of IP that we are going to talk about? If let's say somebody hijack your listing, what can you do? And then probably also if you have listed your product before, but you can't report a violation, why is that so? As well as if you have been notified as a violation that you have a trademark of, how can you appeal, right? I think these kind of questions are really required and needed, and definitely is I would say it's quite nerve-wracking lah when you receive this kind of like notification from Amazon. So today we are here to answer your questions. Okay, so that being said, right, the agenda for today, this is the agenda that we will go through, right? And definitely I think it is to give you more assurance when you face this kind of IP notification as well. Yeah, okay. So if you have any questions, please feel free to just drop in the chat, and then we will answer them later. If not, then we will go to part one, right? So part one will be the types of intellect property that we will discuss, right? So what are actually infringement types, right? Whenever we talk about like Amazon brand registry, and then we always say, do you have a trademark? Actually, what we're talking about is for brand registry, where we protect the brand itself, right? That is one of the primary functions for brand registry. Amazon loves to work with brand owners because we believe that brand owners will give the best quality for our consumers, right? But however, we also do want to protect to make it a very sustainable e-commerce platform. Yeah. Okay. So first infringement type would be the trademark infringement, whereby trademarks, as we know, it is like logos, words, designs. Basically every time when you see like a logo, right, you know that okay, that is a particular trademark of a company. That being said, one particular trademark infringement example, right, it is that, if for example, if you see seller Justin is selling a non-branded generic bedsheet set, right, but he advertises as a pins-on bedsheet, right? So that being said, you are misleading the consumer to thinking that they are actually selling a branded bedsheet by Pinson when actually it is not. So this will be considered a infringement on the Pinson trademark. Okay. Second one will be copyright trademark, whereby copyright, right, it is to protect the original works like videos, movies, songs, books, and musical pieces. So in order for someone to have copyright protection, okay, the work must be created by the author with actually certain novelty lah, right? So that being said, to put it simply, right, everyone must be like, what are you talking about? To put it simply, if let's say the owner of Pinson actually took a picture of the bed sheets, as you can see on this screen over here, and Justin, who is just a seller, just copy and paste it. These kind of simple things will actually constitute a copyright infringement. Yeah, so always remember that you want to get the approval from the brand owner itself that you have permission to use these photos. Okay, third one is patent infringement. So what is a patent? Is legal protection regarding inventions, right? So for example, if let's say somebody were to invent something and then you just copy and paste the invention, that is a patent infringement lah, right? So for example, over here, the style and material of the mobile phone cases sold by the seller is similar to one that is patented by other merchants, right? Or if not, a robot vacuum cleaner has a low noise function. It's also copied by one of patent function, right? This will be considered an infringement as well. Okay, so now that we've gone through all the three different types of infringements, right? What is the process of reporting the infringements if you are on the receiving end where you actually receive an infringement notification, or if you're a brand owner who actually sees that somebody is actually committing an infringement on your trademark, patent, or your copyright? Okay, so to simplify the process of finding this potential infringement, right, you can actually do three types of search. One is global search, right, image search, and the bulk async search. Okay, so the reporting process will go like this, where if you go to the report page, right, you search for the infringement, where there will be the three types. Okay, then you select the content that you have found to report it, right? Fourth one is to choose the type of violation, and number five, it is to follow the prompts of our instructions to provide additional information. So step one, you have to go to your Amazon brand registry portal. Okay, again, it is not Seller Central, it is Amazon brand registry. Okay, under protect, you will see a part where it says report violation. In order to access this brand registry, you can also go under Seller Central to your brands, click register a brand, and then they will bring you to brand registry as well, right? Over here, once you go to report a violation, okay, step two will be to actually do the search, right? So you can do global search, you can do bulk async search if you already know which asyncs are violating your brand, as well as, or if not, you can do an image search, right? So that you have your photo and then you search on it, we will search based on that. Step three will be to select the report content, right? So it's either you want to report an entire async, right? Or if not, you want to report a sub async, that means a variation of it. Third one, it is to show the sale of an item from a seller, right? So you can click show pricing and then multiple choices will be available. Or if not, if you want to search, if you want to report an image where somebody actually infringe based on your copyright of the photo, you can also do that. Okay, so step four, it will be to select the infringement type, right? So there'll be a drop down menu where you can just select any of the three. Okay, and then after that, once you have told us and said that okay, this is the type of infringement that happened, then we will need to have additional information as well, right? So if you see here additional information, what best describes your issue, the brand name that you have, link to the copyrighted work, as well as the link to what it was. And after that, once you have done this, right, some considerations that you want to take while reporting your violation, okay, is to choose the right type of infringement type so that we know directly what you're talking about. Okay, during the reporting process, please submit all required materials so that we have a more comprehensive understanding of what this violation is. If you have done previous reports, that can be escalated, but please do not repeat reports that have been reviewed already, because it will just kind of make things go in circles. Number 4, it is to report only potential IP infringements, right, which is the 3 types of infringements that we have talked about. And if you report violations that are not IP infringement, then you have to go to Seller Central, Performance, Account Status, and report Amazon policy abuse, which is violations that is not within the IP infringements. Okay, so that being said, right, that is the process of how to actually report a IP infringement with Amazon. Part 3 will be, let's go through some common scenarios, right, where we might be thinking like, will this really happen to us? Potentially, sometimes it will. Okay, so case 1, does unauthorized selling of a brand via Sell Yours really count as infringement? Okay, so the case here would be that Mike sells these clothes and discovers that someone is selling one of his best-selling products, but Mike has not authorized anyone to sell his brand. So other than getting angry, of course, Mike would be like, hey, I never authorized anybody to sell my brand. What can he do, right? So that being said, just be careful over here, okay? Because in this case, right, it would be basically saying that selling the same product is not equivalent to infringement, okay? Only if the product, if it's fake. Okay, so let's see here, only if the product being sold is a counterfeit, then we will say that it is a trademark infringement. Okay, so seller have to prove that the product being sold is actually a counterfeit before reporting it. Okay, so step 1 is to do a test buy, okay, to prove that the product is that is sold is fake. And step 2 is then only use a report a violation tool, then select trademark infringement. Okay. So that being said, the keys to having a successful report, right, it is to actually be sure of to provide your test buy order number, okay, and then submit the report after the test buy is being actually test buy order is delivered. So the store for which the test buy is being used must match the reported store, right? And then that being said, uh, in the please provide more information to help to understand your issue. Don't state that, oh, I did not authorize the seller to sell the product, but basically describe the product being sold as counterfeit. Okay. Okay, case 2, what kind of infringement is unauthorized image use, right? So often sometimes we may just take the photos from online, or basically our partners, and then we just use it, right? So case background here is that Mike has discovered that brand store A has blatantly used a set of clothing photos that Mike has taken for store A's own product images, right? So how should Mike defend his rights? Okay, so one thing that Mike can do is actually to add a watermark representing his or himself or his brand to the photo to exercise signature rights, right? And then save the time you upload your photo to Amazon store to prove that you actually have prior rights to the image as well. Okay. Number 3 is to edit and save the author information into the attributes of the photo, right? And then you want to take a screenshot of the image author information and creation time for preliminary evidence that you are the author and of that time that you of the work that has been completed. Okay, so that being said, over here, if we see, right, again, keys to a successful report is to double check, right, that this infringed image, text, or trademark appears on the listing that you have reported and is identical, right? Prepare your material, so your copyright registration number, you must prepare first, and also consistent image that must be exactly what the image is being reported, right? For example, an image showing the same model displaying the same product but from a different angle will be considered invalid evidence, right? So over here, it may not be the case as well, right? Because it must be the same kind of image. It cannot be a similar kind of image. Okay. That being said, reporting case summary. Okay, let me just go through the whole summary, and then I'll give you time to save your screenshots. Okay. The situation one is that to sell yours, right? So a seller sold my product without authorization, right? To prepare for reporting again, do the test buy format, right? Make sure that the product is counterfeit. Okay, so the infringement type will be trademark infringement, whereby the item is counterfeit. Falsely labeled item is that the seller has used my logo on their products and packaging, right? So again, do the test buy to ensure that the product or the package actually misuses the trademark. So in this case, it will be trademark infringement. And then listing plagiarizes my trademark. So a seller has plagiarized my brand name and logo in their title, image, or product detail, right? Again, this is trademark infringement. So when you report, do select the right brand names and the trademark that's been suspected of being infringed. Okay, so let's just give some time for this part to save screenshots. Please take your photos. So that in case, I hope nobody face this, but in case if you face this is one way that you can know what to do next. Okay, and then I will go to the next one, right? This is for copyright infringements, that it is to plagiarize the bullet points. So if let's say the seller has plagiarized my bullet points or product image for their own listing, right? Then you got to verify that the image and the text that you own the copyright to, right, actually appears on the detail page and is exactly the same as the infringed content, right? And then you want to prepare your copyright registration number as well. If you report the copyright infringement of an image, then the image you are reporting must be exactly the same as the infringed image. Okay, for design wise, if a seller plagiarized my original design, then you have to do the test buy, right? You have to do a test order so that you have the product to say that, okay, this product actually uses your original design, and then make sure that you are ready with the order number of the test buy and the store that you have bought from. Okay, then you will actually select copyright infringement. Counterfeit product is that you have applied for a patent, but a seller released the same product and sold without authorization, right? Then you will have to provide your patent number, as well as the appearance of the patent must be the same or highly similar. Okay, so in this case, the infringement type will be patent infringement. So gonna give a little bit of time here for you guys to take photos. Okay. Again, if you guys have any questions, please drop on our on our chat group so that we can answer your questions later. All right. Okay, so that being said, right, when using report a violation, please, these are the top 6 things to keep in mind, right? It is to choose the correct type of infringement and provide the matching evidence. Okay, again, with all of this infringement or violation, it is actually something, it can be quite confusing with copyright, trademark, and patents, right? So make sure you choose correctly, and if you have the screenshots before, make sure that please refer to it. Number 2, if in any following situations you do want to actually use test by filling a report, right? I mean to say you want to do a test buy order to make sure that this product is really counterfeit. Number 3 is that if you do a test buy order, then that being said, the store must match the reported store, and you got to submit the report after the test buy order is being delivered. Okay, number 4, it is to actually fill in the correct reason, right? A lot of times you always say that, seller did not authorize this seller to sell the product, but the thing is, that is not a infringement, right? You have to actually describe the real infringement here is that the product being sold is a counterfeit. Okay, number 5 is the product. It is to provide valid evidence, right? So for copyright and trademark infringement, the evidence must be exactly the same as the reported content. For patent infringement, the patent status cannot be under review. You actually need to have the patent already. Okay, and number 6, you need to have a valid local trademark, right? So again, trademarks, right, it is actually country dependent, right? So only US registered trademarks can form a violation in the US marketplace. So just bear in mind here, whereby if you have a Singapore trademark and you want to file a US marketplace, that is also not valid, right? It must be, if you have a US registered trademark, then you can report a violation in the US marketplace. This is really important because Amazon, it is a global marketplace, right? as sellers, you have access to like Singapore, Canada, Mexico, US, Japan. So in that case, if you want to report a violation to that particular marketplace, please ensure that you have that that country's trademark. Okay, number 4, for policy violation, if let's say you actually got a notification that you have violated, what to do and how to appeal, right? So first thing to do is to go to your seller central, check if you've been notified under your performance account health and policy compliance. Basically they will just write over there, basically it will come up very fast lah, right, that you have a policy compliance notification. Okay. That being said, does an infringement notice mean that I really infringe someone's IP? Potentially not, right? There will be a checklist. Okay. So that being said, this will be your checklist. Whereby if let's say you have for trademark, if it has a logo, check whether there is trademark infringement. If there is characters from a famous film or TV program, right? Check if there is a copyright infringement. If there is a unique shape, function or design, check if there is a patent infringement. And then that being said, also does the packaging design infringe a registered patent for product packaging per se. Yeah, and then also trademark graphics or text printed on the packaging without authorization. Do have this checklist as well, right? Always make sure that you are checking with your partner or the brand owner. For listing wise, check if you're going to use a trademark brand or image registered by somebody else. Very, very important. Also, does this image or video use unauthorized content, right? So that being said, please again to check. If let's say your image or video use unauthorized trademark graphics or text, that's also very, very important. Does the product description contain unauthorized trademark graphics or text? That is for your listing per se, right? So these are really the checklist to really make sure that you avoid infringement. Okay, so if let's say you really did infringe someone's IP, right? Don't worry, don't panic. Basically you still can go to your seller central to file for an appeal. Okay. Okay, so case 1, if you really infringe on someone's IP, you can, number 1, clarify the root cause of the infringement and clarify the actions that have been taken to resolve the infringement. I would say in this case, right, if let's say you really infringe, do make sure to communicate to the reporting party and say that, hey, okay, you know what, communicate to them and say that please withdraw the case, because then you can do the rectifications from there, right? Remove all products that use this packaging or reach a compensation agreement and provide refunds to all buyers. Number 3, you can also, to prevent for future infringement, maybe optimize the procurement mechanism, right? How do you procure this particular product? If let's say you didn't know that this particular product, your supplier is not the recognized authorized brand, then perhaps maybe what you want to do it is to find like the authorized manufacturer or like a supplier from there. Okay. And then also to arrange infringement inspection and training for procurement and logistic personnel. That's very important as well. Also the thing is also ensure that the responsible person has ability to determine infringement, right? So it is, I would say it's not normal, but these things do happen, right? So it's all a process, right? In Amazon, we always say that it's day one culture. So if let's say you accidentally infringe someone's IP, these are the next steps that you can go ahead with. Okay, case 2 is that if you're very sure and you say that no, I did not infringe on someone's IP, basically you can actually use a procedure to submit a counter notice to the DMCA, right, which is basically the Digital Millennium Copyright Act, right, to actually say that actually the complaint is not infringing at all. Right, so to do this, what can you do? You go to your Seller Central, account health, policy compliance, right? You click receive intellectual property complaints, and you locate the deactivation record for the product listings that you want to appeal, and then there will be a appeal button next to the record. Do click on that, right? And then once you click the appeal button, you can actually submit more additional information from there. Okay. Okay, so how to prepare for using the counter notification template, right? It must actually include this following information: material that was removed or disabled, and the location where it appeared before it was removed or disabled. The statement by you, right, declaring that you have good faith belief that the material at issue is actually misidentified or misleadingly removed, right? Of course, your contact details for us to, for them to actually notify you, as well as you consent this statement basically, and your physical or electronic statement, right? So just be careful, because any false statement in your written counter notice may actually lead to civil or criminal penalties, right? So yes. Okay, wow, I think that was very fast. I think it's all very, very heavy kind of like information, right? I'm not sure about you guys, but for me it's very heavy lah, right? Even though as a AE, when my sellers, to be honest, I've never gotten this thing before, but of course, all AEs are trained to make sure that sellers don't even get to this stage. So, yes, but it is a very, very serious situation if you have this, because it really requires legalities as well as your business expansion to that particular marketplace. So yeah, so I think I have come to the end of my and I will pass it on back to Jin Liang for the Q&A.
All right, thank you, Martina. Thank you so much for sharing. So, yeah, today the topic is meant to be serious because intellectual property is really a serious topic. All right, so thank you so much, Martina, for sharing so much with us, and just to make sure that all our sellers are actually aware. All right, so it's serious to actually infringe any form of intellectual property, or even if someone infringe your intellectual property, you are aware that there are systems and process in place for you to actually report, and then protect your brand in the process. All right, so I just shared by my screen, so let me know if anybody cannot see. So we are going through the more exciting parts of today's session. So we're going through the Q&A. So for those of you who share the questions to us during the registration form, I would have extracted those questions in the morning. But if you just registered maybe a couple of hours ago, I may have missed out those questions. And in that case, I may need you to put into the question box again so that we can address it accordingly. All right, then we'll go through some of these frequently asked questions before we dive deep into the Q&A, okay? Right, so we do have a very frequently asked question such as this. All right, so the question is that I own a US trademark and complete the Amazon brand registry, but I don't have a Singapore trademark. Can I use the infringement reporting tools to report a Singapore ASIN? All right, so to answer this question, right, this is especially common for sellers who are actually located in Singapore or even in other parts of the country, but they are selling into the Amazon North America, such as Amazon.com, the US, right? So in this situation, right, so the answer regarding to this question, if you own a US trademark and complete the brand registry but don't have a Singapore trademark, can you report? So the answer is no. Like what Martina mentioned earlier on, the trademark is actually region or rather country dependent. All right, so report on any of those infringement, you will need to have a local trademark. All right, so for this example above that I shown, right, you wouldn't be able to submit any infringement report because the example here, the seller doesn't own a Singapore registered trademark. All right, so that's the thing. The trademark, do remember and aware that trademark is region dependent. So if in this example, if the seller would like to actually report on this Singapore ASIN, the seller will need to also have a Singapore registered trademark to actually enforce the infringement reporting. All right, I hope that is clear. If not, let us know in the question box. All right, so next frequently asked question to share with everyone is, I am the trademark owner of this brand called ABC, and I've completed the ABC brand registration on Amazon. I think it meant that the brand registry enrollment on Amazon. So what happened is that this seller actually found that someone is selling, his or her product on Amazon, but the seller has never actually authorized anyone to do so. So the seller proceeded to report the listing hijacking, but it's not accepted. All right. So listing hijacking basically just means that someone tried to, kind of list the same product using your brand. All right. So the response to this is that, the tools for reporting violation, what Martina shared earlier on, only support reports of the potential infringement. So if the listing that is being hijacked does not violate your intellectual property right, the report will not be accepted. All right, in example that what earlier on shared is that if you have verified, you do a test buy and you realize that, the item is actually real, is authentic, it is your real item, so there is no infringement actually. All right, so this brings down to the fact that, whether or not a manufacturer or brand, do they want to authorize somebody else into a exclusive kind of distribution agreement, subject to whatever terms they have. This is something that Amazon don't get involved with. This is solely up to the manufacturer or brands, whether or not they actually want to go into any form of agreement with the seller that is selling the same brand. All right, so to summarize, if you did a test buy and you realize that the item is actually real, is an authentic item, there is no infringement, and which is why your reporting of this infringement is not accepted. I hope that is clear. Okay, moving on. So we have some questions from the registrant, which they shared during the registration process. So we can, Martina and I can actually talk about it. So I'm going to read
Mm-hmm.
out this question, right? The first question is, if there is an IP complaint, I understand that seller will need to show invoice as proof that product is authentic. How about online confirmation order or receipt? Right, maybe I can start off first. Now, to my understanding, right, it can vary case by case because depending on what you're selling, some brand may or may not want you to provide certain authorization letters. So I would say just follow what the email that you receive to ask for additional information, all right? And just submit whatever that you have to the selling support team, right? And then they will assess whether or not is that document you submitted is eligible to get to prove that you are the authorized seller, that kind of stuff. Anything Martina would like to add on?
Uh, no, I think Gina, you basically summarized that. I think yeah, this is really like case by case lah. Whereby it is sometimes difficult to actually show. I think let's say if the order confirmation order or receipt, sometimes it will help also to kind of like write in words, like and say that, oh, I bought during this at this place. If it's a legitimate kind of like big mall, like for example like KLCC or something like that, chances are is that it might not be, could be counterfeit, but it really varies case by case. So instead of just I would say some sellers, they always flood a lot of documents, right? But the team does not know where is this item from or what is the case, right? So yeah, so I mean it's sometimes also showing about sincerity as well. Yeah.
All right, thank you, Martina. So moving on to question 2, I think this is a bit of similar to question 1. Again, I would say to actually provide as much detail as you have. Honestly, to all, to the seller support team, as much info as you have to let them assess it on your situation. So, but I see that these questions are mainly, I would say, regarding online arbitrage model, which is a bit like, for those who are not aware, online arbitrage, if my understanding would be like, you might get some of your, or rather get your inventory from another supplier or another, sources that sold it to you at a cheaper rate, and then you try to, sell it on the other platform on a higher price to actually earn the difference in the pricing. So it's more like reselling in that sense. I would say that this model, it's okay in that sense, but it's not very sustainable because you do not have a lot of control in terms of your logistic, where your inventories come from. You don't have control in terms of the pricing, etc. So you're actually under the, I would say, a lot of the, um, I would say a lot of the authority to change the pricing or to determine the inventory actually comes from the sources where you obtain the inventory. So I would say in my observation, most seller would go through the private labeling route, where they have a lot more control in terms of their pricing, their stocks, and they are also the brand owner, where they will not have so much of an issue regarding getting flagged out whether or not their product are authentic, whether or not they have the rights to actually sell those products. Anything Martina would like to add on?
Mm, yeah, this one is really for arbitrage. I I I think to share with everybody, the online arbitrage model, right? It is actually increasing, but it's not saying that it's bad. It's just that it's about sustainability of the business, right? In terms of like, yeah, like what Jingla mentioned also, it's about you don't own the supply chain that way. So if anything, something kind of like disrupts it, right? It's gonna be highly disruptive. So in the beginning, I would say that yes, it does sound like a very, very good a business model, which we do see success in. However, the potential long term business of it or the success might not be there. Yeah. So yes, but in other case, what other documents similar to question one do just provide as many documents as well as write up a more comprehensive case explanation.
Thank you,
Yeah.
Martina. Okay, moving on to question three, right? What to do if a seller receive a IP complaint and how to remove it? So I think Martina actually went through the process earlier on in the few slides above. You can rewatch it. Yeah, so just go through the instruction that was given. Either if you believe there is really an infringement, try to sort it out with the original owner if you can. If not, you might want to actually remove the infringing product listing. Right. Okay, so I'm moving to the last one we get. So I have TM. So I believe TM is trademark, right? So I have trademark, but hijackers from other countries just hijack my listing. It seems that it's totally out of control. So I would say, based on my understanding, is that like what Martina also shared earlier on, is very regional based in terms of trade in terms of trademark. All right. So again, I would say that because of the country specific of trademark, you might want to also try to get a trademark in that country that you see that is hijacking your listing, so that you can actually enforce the what they call it, enforce the infringement on reporting on them. Meaning that if you were to see any hijack of a listing, because your listing is so good that other seller want to sell a product like yours, then you might want to try to also get a trademark registered in that country. All right. So in a on Amazon context, with that, you will be able to go into brand registry and file, or rather, get that infringing ASIN and report it, and then it will be removed. So this is something that yeah, it can be helped due to how IP is being I would say is being regulated in different countries. Yeah, so it's really country dependent. All
Yes,
right, anything
correct.
Martina want
Yeah.
to add on before we move on? Yep.
No, I think for question four, yeah, I do hear sellers say like, oh, they hijack, which I mean, there is the listing. I think also one thing is that you can optimize. Basically, yeah, have more trademarks. These kind of issues come when your business is good. and people see that there is access to the business, right? So yeah, so sadly, trademarks is really just based on country wise, right? So as far your business goes and how you expand it, do also pay more attention to the legal jurisdiction for countries that are going to expand to. Yep.
All right, thank you, Martina. All right, if you have more questions, let us know in the question box, right? We're gonna move on to the next one. I do see some questions from the question box already. So just to share, we have more upcoming webinars in December before we end the year. All right, I think today is the 15th of the December, if I'm not wrong. So we have a couple of
Yes.
more topics coming up. Yep. So do remember to register if you have any other topic that interests you, etc. Or you can let us know in the survey later if there's any topic that you would like to find out but it's not shared in any of our webinar. All right, I'm gonna look at the chat right, the question right now, right? So we can all see what the question is. So if you have more questions, let us know in the question box. All right, I saw one question right now, or rather it was shared earlier on by one of the attendees. So the question is, do we need to pay for these services? Okay, so maybe I can share first. So I'm not sure which services you are referring to. If you are still here, let us know. But if it is what that Martina has shared in terms of the reporting of any infringement listing, etc., there is no fee involved. Right now, the only fee will be to even get to have that kind of protection, you need to have your trademark first. So for trademark wise, there is a fee involved. You need to pay a fee to get yourself registered, or rather get your brand registered as a trademark in the relevant countries such as the US if you're selling in Amazon.com. So that is something that you will have to incur a cost. Now, other than that, once you're registered in brand registry, the reporting services, etc., those that Martina shared earlier on, there is no fee or whatsoever. It's actually free, all right, provided by Amazon. So I hope I didn't miss out any point. Do you have anything to add on,
Um,
Martina? Yep.
Uh, I I think with that, yeah, like what you say, right? There is no fee, but just be careful because the selling plan, if you're
Ah,
you must be on professional selling plan, and then it comes like free. If you're on individual selling plan, right? Which I would say sellers might not be, but if you are, you will not have the brand registry, and of course, in order to the brand registry, like what Julian said, you need to have the trademark, right? So in terms of fees wise, no, we do not charge additional fees to say like, hey, to protect our brand, but you must make sure that you're on the professional selling plan.
got it.
Yes.
Thank you. So that being said, we actually have a promotion still ongoing. I hope that you just need to pay
Yes.
$1 USD for the Southeast Asia seller. Then you can actually get access to the professional selling plan for up to 6 months. So you can use the professional selling account for 6 months. You get access to all the of services, or rather all the features that you get as normal, but you just need to pay for $1 USD for the first month, and you get to access it for the next 5 months for free. All right, so for those sellers who have not and utilize this benefit, do remember to sign up. Yep. Okay, if there's no other, let's move on to the next question. So we have a seller that mentioned, do I need to monitor myself for I
Infringement.
think this seller meant infringement. Yeah, do I need to monitor myself for any infringement? Okay, so to answer this, from what I know is that once you enroll, right, there are some automated brand protection in place. All right, if there's some very obvious or blatant kind of infringement, like some seller use the same brand name and the exact same image that this seller actually kind of right click and save it and try to use it as their own. This kind will actually be detected and captured. All right, so again, these are all based on the algorithm and machine learning model, etc. Then again, there are times that it might be miss out. All right, so which is why what Martina shared earlier on, there is a process for all sellers to actually report. So if you happen to found some seller, which I think every seller should from time to time do your own market research, search for items on where you're selling to see if there's any competitor. And then if you happen to find some seller who are actually selling things like yours and you found that it's infringing but it's not been detected, then you can go through the process to file the infringement to make to let Amazon to evaluate whether or not it's being infringed or not. Yeah. Anything Martina would like to add on?
No, you are absolutely correct. It is good for sellers to. I'm so sorry, my dog is in the camera. Uh, oh my god, I am so sorry. Yeah, sorry, we have a special guest, guys. My dog. Yeah. No, but it is a good practice to always look at your potential infringement. I think when a product is is selling very well on Amazon, other Amazon sellers will love that, right? So they might actually take your photos and stuff like that. We can't really stop the copy paste. Everybody can copy paste your photo from your listing. So once in a while it's good to monitor that on your own. But of course, we do have the AI kind of like learnings where it would trigger an alarm when somebody's trying to kind of copy your product. uh so yeah, so yes, you do need to monitor. It will be good. You don't need to, but it will be good, especially for brand owners.
Perfect. Perfect. All right, so the floor is still open for question. So coming back, let me see if I have more questions from the audience today. So if you have questions, let us know. All right, if not, we might be ending soon already. All right, let us wait for a couple of minutes. So if you are typing something, just press enter now so we know that you are actually typing stuff. All right.
Oh,
Okay, I saw a question. Let me just type here so you know what's the question here. Answer live. All right, so now for this attendee, you can see the question appear on your chat box. All right. Okay, so I got this question from one of the attendee. How to register for brand registry? I guess this element
yes.
is yes. So to register, first of all, you need to have a pending or a trademark. All right, so if you have a trademark, great. All right, if not, right, you can kickstart having a trademark. You can actually put your application number in the enrollment. So what you do, or rather what you need is, first of all, you need to have the application ID that you have or the registration ID of your trademark if yours is already registered. All right. And then next, the other data you need to have is where, or rather the pictures of your actual product with your brand. All right. So it cannot be a sticker. You cannot actually print a sticker and then you stick it on your product and say that this is your product. Okay, it's gonna fail the brand registry enrollment. All right. You need to show something that is permanently affixed, like printed on the product itself. All right, your brand name, etc. So whatever you submit into the brand registry platform, it has to be the same as what you submitted to the your relevant local trademark office. For example, like US PTO, if you are registering in the US country for your trademark. All right, so just use back the same I would say image that you submit. So for brand registry, for the enrollment, we do accept the text-based and the image-based trademark that you can use. All right, so I hope that addressed your question. We also have the I would say a webinar regarding on the step-by-step process on enrolling your trademark. So you can actually go and watch that, or I will put a link as well in the video when I upload this, so you can have a look on what exactly do you need to register for your trademark. All right, I don't see any more questions. Now, before I end, maybe I will have Martina to share maybe like any last word or advice that you would give to our attendees today.
I think for this, what you want to do, I think IP infringement is something that like, yeah, it's something that I also don't like to see. But definitely in your business expansion, right? Definitely something that you will face once in a while, I guess. So just make sure that if you are a reseller, or if you are selling someone else's product, do have their authority or their approval to make sure that you're able to sell on Amazon. Marketplaces, if you want to be super detailed with that, to actually prevent all of this, right? But of course, I think in terms of like trademark copyright, if you are a brand owner today and you probably just register, because a lot of sellers, they register for like Singapore trademark, right? And then they don't register for US trademark, and then they're selling in Amazon.com. It gets very very difficult, right? So trademarks, even though it is expensive, right, but it is here to really protect your brand. So if today you're here to be a sustainable Amazon seller, right, then trademarks is really here to protect. It's kind of like insurance. Yeah. And then, but yeah, I think other than that, if we all just follow the rules, and potentially also use brand registry to actually protect yourself and your account, chance are is that you won't get the IP infringement. Yeah, unless you are a reseller, then potentially you should lah. You could not you should, but you could. So always get approval from your parent brand. Very, very, very important. But yes, I think other than that, yeah, that's all for me, Jingliang.
All right, thank you, Martina, for joining. It's such an honor to have you here today. So I hope everyone learned something regarding this very serious and important topic. So we will see you in the next webinar. Thank you so much, Martina, and thank you everyone for spending your time with us. Have a good day. Bye-bye.
Bye. Happy Friday.
Happy Friday. Bye.
Woo. Bye, everybody.